Hi, today we will see statistical decision making using error bars. What is an error bar? It is nothing but a graphical representation of standard error. That is the standard deviation of the sample means. For a population data, we can say the variable capital X is distributed normally with population mean mu and population standard deviation sigma. Mu and sigma are called parameters. They are fixed. They do not change. For a sample, the variable capital X is distributed normally with sample mean X bar and sample standard deviation capital S. For sample means if you do a number of times these experiments, then the average of this experiment, capital X bar, is distributed normally with population mean mu and standard deviation sigma X bar. An estimate of this distribution can be obtained even without doing these experiments by the description. Capital X bar is distributed normally with population mean mu and standard deviation sigma by root of n, where n is the number of trials in the experiment. That is the sample size. Okay. So when we can estimate this is called standard error. This standard deviation is called standard error. Sigma X bar is called standard error. Now for the population data and sample data, average can be calculated using these formulae. For population data, mu is equal to summation of all the variable values divided by total number of terms in the population data. For sample data, it is summation of all the variable values in the sample divided by total number of terms in the sample data. Once we calculate these averages, we will also find out the variance. For population, the variance is sigma squared given by summation of the square of the deviation of the variables from the mean divided by total number of terms in the population. For sample, the variance capital S squared is given by summation of the squares of the deviation of the variable values from the sample mean divided by total number of terms in the sample data n minus 1. Why we are using n minus 1 here in the denominator whereas capital N here? Because then only this variance of sample variance will be an unbiased estimate of the population variance. I have made a video for this mathematical proof that this is an unbiased estimate of the population standard deviation. Please go through that. Now, standard deviation is nothing but the square root of variance. Therefore, square root of sigma squared for population and square root of capital S squared for sample data. But you do not need to remember all these formulae. What you need to do, you need to know what do they mean. You need to know how to interpret them in the data set. Also, how they will be useful in analyzing and interpreting the data. We will see here in this video, SD is a measure of the variability of the data set and standard error of the mean, SEM, is a measure of the precision of the data set. You will see. Consider a data set with a mean here. The data set is closely clustered to the mean. If all the data set are closer to the mean, that data set will have a very, very low standard deviation. Therefore, this data set will have a low standard deviation. It is the variability within the data set. Variability within. This term you will see very many times when you're doing the hypothesis testing and ANOVA testing. It is the variability within the data set. Okay. Now consider this data set. If all the data set are further away from the mean, not close, but further away, then the data set will have a large standard deviation. So a data set can have a low degree of variability or a high degree of variability. We will prefer to have a low degree of variability. Why is it important? You will see here. Consider two participants, A and B. They have to run a distance, a particular distance, and we are noting down the time taken to cover the distance. Each runs 5 times, and the conclusions will be very simple from the data. See here, it is plotted here. The average time taken by A and B are same, 100 seconds for covering that particular distance. Both A and B take pretty much the same time. My conclusion is true, and it is based on the evidence. But The mean shows only one thing. Is it enough? It doesn't show the variability. Next time if the participant runs, can I confidently say that he will take 100 seconds? No. If you look at the data set, it is quite variable for the two participants. As you can see here, for RK, one trial he has taken 110 seconds, another trial he has taken 92 seconds. For GSK, for this participant, he has taken 99 seconds, 105 seconds, so varying time. So this variability is honestly not shown in this graph. So we have not graphed the data honestly that we want to represent. So what do? How do we honestly represent the data as we wanted to? One way is to plot the standard deviation in the graph. See here. This is the average time. I have found out the standard deviation. I've taken 2 times standard deviation below the mean and above the mean. I have plotted here. See, the standard deviation is some value. Then I'm finding out 100 minus 2 times standard deviation, 88 seconds. 100 plus 2 times standard deviation, 112 seconds. What does it convey? That is 95% of the time when he runs, he will take a time of 88 to 112 seconds. Okay. See here. We have no idea whether our data is precise now here. Even with mean and variability, we truly do not know if our average time is going to be 100 seconds and that is truly representative of what we can expect from him next time. Okay. Now, this is the place where standard error of the mean comes into play. Remember, we have taken only one data set. If we do it dozen times, that is a lot of data. Right? What we will do is, you will see here. See, this is only one experiment I have done with 5 trials. I've taken an average of 100 and standard deviation of 5.7. Therefore, so 88 to 112, I got it from here. 2 times standard deviations, 12, I have subtracted and added. Right? Now, what we are doing is I'm doing it dozen times and find out the average of averages, 100. And standard error of the averages, I can find out because you know the formula for standard deviation, right? Deviation of this from the mean, square it, sum it, divided by number of terms minus 1. So, but if I increase the number of tiles, you can see here, the average remains same, almost b bit only changes, but the standard error decreases. If I double the number of trials, it decreases further. So the standard error of mean decreases and we get an accuracy. We'll go back, we'll see here. If you do it dozen times, this is a lot of data. We can go deeper level and calculate now. Each time we calculate the average and then find the average of averages. That is, each time we have calculated the average of averages, right? And then we also calculate the standard deviation of these averages of such different sets, right? That is what is this here, average of averages and standard deviation of the averages, standard error of the mean, 3.986. This is what we have got it. Now, the standard error of the mean is a measure of how far the sample mean is likely to be from the true mean of the population. Please remember the normal distribution properties. If you know the standard deviation, if you know the average, 95% of the data will fall within plus or minus 2 sigma, 2 times standard deviation. Okay, that is what we are using. So lower the standard error of the mean, that is standard deviation of the sample means, the more likely it is that your calculated mean is closer to the actual mean. Calculated ACM for the data set is 3.98. I have shown you. The problem is now to save money, energy, and effort. We do not want to do the experiment dozen times and then calculate this 3.98 value. And 3.98 also is not accurate because if I increase the number of trials, double the number of trials, and do it dozen times, then we see that it is 2 point. So this creates a dilemma as when we want to find out the ACM, how do we find out the ACM? Now, here is where our expert statisticians come into picture, giving us an unbiased estimate of the ACM as follows. How is it unbiased? I've given a video. Please go through that video later. It is given by sample standard deviation divided by square root of the sample size n. Now, for this case, It is 5.72 divided by root of 5, it is 2.56. It is closer to 3.98. This again is we have done with only 5 trials and dozen times, right? Now, SEM is a measure of the precision of the data. How do we interpret this data? Mean plus 2 times standard deviations, we have done it. 95% of the time taken would be from, say, 88 to 112, I said. If the variation is 20, then it will be 60 to 140 seconds. Because in one sample, I got the standard deviation for the same experiment, 20 is a standard deviation, then it is erroneous. So I do not go with standard deviation, but I go with the standard deviation of the sample means, which is 2.56, which is closer to 2.7, which is obtained in the experiments, right? We shall use this calculated, estimated SEM here. It is the standard deviation of the average of the repeated experiments here. How do we interpret the data? Mean plus or minus 2 times SEM. So 95% of the time, that means if you do the experiment 20 times, then in 18 times, the experiment would produce an average time of 95 to 105 seconds. Why 195? 100 minus 2 times 2.5. 100 plus 2 times 2.5, right? Smaller the SEM, more precise the data we have. Thankfully, we do not have to repeat this experiment dozen times because we know this formula, SEM is equal to standard deviation divided by square root of sample size. So seeing the SEM gives us an estimate of how precise the data is. We can also use this standard error of the mean as error bars in the graph to communicate, to compare different data sets. We will see here. If the error bars overlap and the overlapping region includes the mean of distribution, then there is a strong evidence that there is no difference between the two populations. Both are same. When the error bars overlap and they include the mean of the distribution. If they do not include the mean of the distribution, if the error bars overlap and the overlapping region does not contain the means, then there is really no strong evidence. We can't come to a conclusion. There is no strong evidence that the two populations are either similar or different. We can't see. Not much can be concluded here because the uncertainty is just too high. Right? At higher classes, you will see what is uncertainty. If the error bars do not overlap at all, then there is a strong evidence that there is a difference between the two populations. There is a significant difference between the two participants here, right? We will see that here. Initially, we made mean plus or minus 2 times standard deviation. Variability is shown, but we want precision. Therefore, we have used standard error of the mean. It has decreased, please note. See, this has decreased to half. Now, we have plotted this. If the errors overlap, the error bar is here for participant A, error bar is here for participant B. Please note this red line and this red line is overlapping here over this region, right? Here this mean is included, here this mean is included. Therefore, there is a strong evidence that these two are same, right? See here, it's covering. This mean also is covered, this mean also is covered. Right? Now we will see the second case. Overlapping is there, but the mean is not covered. Here, please see here, this mean is not covered by this overlapping at all. The overlapping is only in this portion. This is not covering this mean here. Therefore, we can't come to a conclusion. Not much can be concluded here because the uncertainty is just too high. Right? Please note here, the mean is not included. Now we will see the third case. Plot of mean plus 2 times standard error of the mean. See here, this is not at all overlapping. This is separate here. There is a gap here. The yellow rectangle shows the gap here. Therefore, if the error bars do not overlap at all, there is a strong evidence that there is a difference between these two populations. This is different, this is different. They are not the same person, right? We will see the summary here. Now, do you know what it is? It's a strong evidence. There is a overlapping, means are included, therefore there is no difference. Right? Strong evidence that there is no difference. Now here there is overlapping, but mean is not included. This average is not included. Therefore, here no conclusion can be obtained. Whereas here there is no overlapping at all. Right? If there is no overlapping, there is a strong evidence that there is a difference. If there is a overlapping, but mean is not included, therefore no conclusion can be obtained. There is an overlapping and the mean is covered here. Therefore, there is a strong evidence that they are same. Right? You'll see here. So strong evidence for no difference between the population. No strong evidence to say whether there is a difference or no difference. Here, there is a strong evidence to say that there is a significant difference between these two parameters. Thank you very much for watching. In case if you like, please share it with your friends.